Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Ashley Tries To. On this episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I am still continuing on my spinning journey and using my drop spindle. I've been really working on my consistency, on drafting out the fiber, and I've been working through about a pound of roving that I have to get through that. I am getting better at it, definitely. It is a practice makes perfect or practice makes better type of situation with the drafting. And that's not something that really is, I would say, fun to watch someone document. So I'm not really showing you that part, but I will show you the results. You've seen what I've done for my drafting and pre-drafting. I'm working on now trying to draft without pre-drafting. So I'll show you those results as we move forward and get into the dyeing process of the yarn. What I am going to be doing today, though, is like I said, something a little bit different. And to get into it, we do have to set the stage a little bit. Now, I have been looking online for a new for new tools for continuing on my spinning journey. And one of those things that I was looking at just in passing really was for spinning wheels. I do feel like eventually I am going to want to move over to a wheel to get a better consistency and a better product out of my spinning. Not that you can't do great products on drop spindles. I just feel like I do need to continue to advance and move forward. I have actually recently joined a weavers guild in my area that does all kinds of fiber arts, including the weaving. And there's a spinning group that's within the Weavers Guild, and I'm going to start joining up with those ladies at a later time as well. But so to back it up, I was looking for a spinning wheel or just looking at what was out there really. I would pull up Facebook Marketplace every couple of weeks and put in spinning wheel and see what results came up. A lot of it was spinning wheel shaped objects that people don't realize are not functional in any capacity, or some objects that used to be spinning wheels but are now spinning wheel shaped objects because they are in such disrepair. So I was going through and just seeing what was out there, kind of getting an idea of what was in my area, what would be around when I did want to move forward with that. It's not something that I was really actively thinking about right then and there, but there was something that changed that recently. When I did pull it up about a week ago now, I saw on there a new listing for an Ashford Traditional. The Ashford Traditional is one that I really was looking into getting. Some of the wheels that I saw on there that were functional were more of like a handmade wheel and not something I really wanted to put my lack of expertise behind, seeing as I wouldn't know what was needed if parts were to become in disrepair or something like that. So I did want to go with something that would be easy to repair, get parts for, something that is with a company that's still in business, something like that, which the Ashford fits that bill to a T. And in the spinning groups that I've been in on Reddit, they do they do tout the Ashford for those reasons as being something that's been around for a while. You can get spare parts even for the older ones, and it's a decent wheel to have from everything that I've read. And so when I saw an Ashford available for only $50, I did get excited. Now, again, I'm not somebody who knows anything about this stuff. So I've been watching a lot of videos uh, about repairing, or not repairing, but refurbishing them, getting them up to speed. One thing that I was told to be wary of was a split in the hub. Now, I did talk to the seller of this Ashford, which was only $50, and they did tell me that there was some splitting in the hub and that it was wobbling. The wheel was wobbling because of that. Now, a lot of people would have online have said to stay away from that, but then I also found a good number of videos and posts in different places that talked about repairing that piece and how this is actually a fairly common issue on these vintage Ashfords, because the center hub is two separate pieces that are stuck together. So with that, I have found quite a few posts and things online where people have repaired these center hubs. So I think that with the information that I have found and a little bit of ingenuity, I'll be able to do the same for this Ashford that I picked up. I think that the repairs plus the cost of the materials and the cost of the wheel is actually going to be way cheaper than I would have any business in getting a newer wheel. It'll be way cheaper to do it that way. But there is the chance that I'm going to do something wrong because I don't know exactly what I am doing. I have, like I said, read step-by-step process that I found on one website. There is another video that I found where the YouTuber does claim that they fix the wheel. They don't give specifics on how they fix the wheel. I have found Reddit posts where they talk about gluing the center of the wheel. And it does look like it is something that has already been repaired. I did take the wheel out of the cradle, or I'm not sure I did take the wheel out just to assess what I'm looking at. I took the pin out and I removed the wheel, and the hub does come apart. But it does look like it's already actually been repaired. There's some glue on the inside of the wheel. And I'll show you that, in just a moment here. But if it's been repaired once and it worked, then I feel like I can repair it again. So let's see what we can do. Okay. So as I said, this is the wheel that I took apart. And as you can see, there is some cosmetic issues with it, like some wood cosmetics that are really a big problem. I am gonna need to clean it up. There's some dust in here from just sitting around, basically. Some of the metal pieces do have a little bit of rust on them, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of the rust on these. There's some different ways to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and look into those. Something just as simple as white vinegar can get rid of that. The other thing is, like I said, this wheel does appear to have had some repairs done in the past. The spokes are very well placed into the outside of the hub, or the outside of the wheel, but the hub, as I said, has come apart. But you can see if I take it up like this, there's some residue in some certain places on this hub that I believe indicates that this has been glued at one point. I don't know that it's glue from the original assembly, but from the way it looks, I'm gonna guess it's probably not. But again, I don't really know for certain, but I think it is from a previous repair. So we're gonna have to sand away that old glue and put new glue on there and put it all together. I do have these clamps to clamp everything together and keep it secure while it dries for about a day, if not longer. But the rest of the wheel is in great condition. From what I can tell, there's not too much rust on the metal parts of the bolts and the screws. The bearing seems to be in working condition. If I do need to replace the bearing, that is always something that I can do. It looks like the woolery is actually out of the bearings for this model of Ashford, and I haven't been able to find them on a different site. But I am going to look for them just in case I do need to replace them. The wheel did spin when I tried to spin it. I'm not 100% sure if it's like in tip-top condition, just because I'm not as knowledgeable as some other people might be. But I do think that if it is something that needs to be done, it's not going to be a terrible replacement. This is an older wheel. This is at least from what I can tell in the design of these spokes, as well as the placement of the the Scotch tension knob. It seems to be that this is at least a 1975 to a 1981 Ashford. So it is at least 50 years old, or is close to 50 years old. So for the age of it, I feel like it's in really good condition. The wood is not too dry. It does need to be oiled a little bit, but it's not too dry. I am in a more humid climate, so that probably has helped. But there is a lot to get started with. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, like I said, the sanding of this hub and get all that old glue off. And then I'm going to clean up all of the dust and dirt so that none of that gets into the glue when we start working on actually gluing that hub. All right, friends. So I've gone ahead and I have cleaned up the wheel. It's dried off now. There's no more dust in these areas. I have gone ahead and sanded away. There we go. I've gone ahead and I've sanded away all of that old glue that was on these spots here. The inside here, I haven't really gotten into there. I don't have a tool that's really appropriate to get into there. And I don't know that that's really important for the stick. Like these spots here, right here, are what I really want to have sticking together. I also marked on the top of each of the halves of the hub where the pin entered on each side so that I can keep it in the same orientation that it was before. And I've also kept it pretty much, I believe, where the spokes were previously. Now, I don't know that it really necessarily matters which ones are in the right spot, but as long as these match up and the pin can go all the way through, then I should be in good shape. So I do have my wood glue here. I'm going to go ahead and apply some of this wood glue to the inside pieces of this spoke. Now, the table that I'm using is hopefully going to give me a little bit of an advantage. This centerpiece here that it's laying on top of will actually lift out if I need it to, and I can lay the wheel down on the outside of this table still and have an opening for the clamps to go down through. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on gluing this back together. Now, I do want to say I do have a wet cloth or a wet towel next to my station so that if there is any excess glue, I can wipe it away. But we're going to go ahead and get started now. All right, so we've got the wheel glued, we've got it clamped. Now all we can do is wait. I'm going to go ahead and wait for a good amount of time. I'll probably leave it like this birthday, to be honest. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take the clamps off and make sure that everything still works, everything still can be put back together, the pin still goes through, all of that good stuff. So I'll see you here tomorrow.
While we're waiting for the glue to dry, I also went ahead and gave the outside of the rest of the wheel a good cleaning. It was definitely dirty. I think this wheel was actually kept outside, honestly. So I gave it a good dusting, wiped off all of the dirt and grit from the outside, and then after I was done with that, I sanded down the broken pieces of the pedal. The pedal had a little bit of some delaminated pieces that had broken off of the plywood. Then I went ahead and took apart the rest of the pieces and took all of the screws and bolts and all the metal pieces, kept track of which pieces went where, so that I could put the right pieces back together with the right screws. And I took everything apart. I took the screws, which had a little bit of rust on them, not too much, honestly, for how old this wheel is. But I took all of those screws and I put them all together, and I put them in a bucket of Evaporust, I believe it's called, to get rid of the rust and clean them up. And I left that overnight to soak, and after that was done, I cleaned off all of the rest of the rust remnants, and everything was ready to put back together. been 24 hours and all of the metal pieces have had their time to soak, and the glue has dried, and we have cleaned everything up, and it is all ready to be put back together again. Now with the Ashford Traditional, it is a more simple wheel, so it is pretty easy to keep track of all of the pieces and where they go as you take them apart, and where they need to go to be put back together again. So it was a pretty quick task putting everything back in its place.
my friends, as you can see, she is back together again. All of the pieces are reassembled. I am still waiting on that kit that I have coming to me. It's going to have the drive band in it, as well as the bobbins that I've ordered. But all of this does appear to be ready to go. And just to prove it, let's give it a spin. And that's going counterclockwise. I'm going to go clockwise. There we go. Now, I've heard online people saying something about spinning, that the wheel spins true. That, from my understanding, is that it spins with minimal wobble. This one is not completely spinning true. It seems to be that this chassis is a little bit, it seems to have a little bit of space in here where the wheel is situated. And so that's contributing to that little bit of wobble that I'm getting. But I don't believe that that wobble is going to be to a point where it's going to impact my spinning the same way that it would have if this hub was still split and these spokes were still all wobbly here. Like, as you can see, they are nice and secure in here. They're not wobbling. They're not moving. This hub is nice and tight. I have oiled the mechanical pieces, including the wheel and the treadle. There is, as you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it. There is a bit of a squeak or a groan to the wood. I've heard that is actually something that's normal with Ashfords. But I think we are good to go until next time, when we are going to have that kit to complete the last couple of pieces. And I'll see you shortly for that. Again, it'll be a couple of seconds for you and a couple of days for me. Hello, friends, and we're back. It's been a few days. Not for you, but for me it has. We were waiting on the mail, and the mail has just come today. The two things that I was waiting for in this package was, of course, bobbins. I cannot spin without bobbins, and this wheel did not come with bobbins. So I did purchase some bobbins, and then I also purchased this Ashford maintenance kit. Now, there's a couple of things in this Ashford maintenance kit that I needed for this project. I already had some of the spinning wheel oil, so that wasn't really needed. But the biggest thing that I really needed was the drive band. I don't have a drive band for this wheel, so I can't do any spinning without the drive band or the bobbins. The other thing that came in this kit that I really needed is these hooks for the flyer. One of the hooks on the flyer is bent and not in the best condition, so I am going to go ahead and swap out those hooks with these hooks. There's some other pieces that this kit comes with, like the leather conroy joint. That the one that I have is in pretty good condition. I wouldn't say it's in great condition, but it's not like dried out to the point where it's like breaking or falling apart or pieces are coming off of it. I may swap it out with this other one. I'm not sure. It depends on how it feels once I actually start spinning, but we'll see. But those are the main pieces. I could have just gotten the hooks and the drive band, and then just kind of went with it since I already had the oil. But this also has the hook. I can use a crochet hook to load the orifice, but I feel like having an actual hook for it is going to just make it easier for me. My crochet hooks are actually a little bit they're oversized because they're the ergonomic kind. So this will be easier to use, and then it also comes with the brake band and some extra springs for the brake band, um, which will I think be very helpful moving down the line because I know that the springs do wear out pretty easily. So now that I have everything that I need, I'm going to go ahead and finish up getting this spinning wheel up and running and in working order. So let's get started.
So first things first, I went ahead and I removed the hooks from the flyer so that I could go ahead and replace them. The holes that I used were the same ones that were already threaded through, so I didn't use any tools to do this. I just went ahead and threaded them through by hand. It was pretty easy, pretty simple to do. This is just some I believe it's just plywood that the flyer is made out of, so it wasn't very hard wood to go through. Next up was putting on the drive band. Now, this was something I had never done before. I also didn't know how really to measure out how to trim the drive band. So the best thing I could think to do was to just, put it around the wheel and put it around the flyer and see how much room I needed and go from there. Now, I have been watching some things that said not to make it too tight and not to make it too loose, which is kind of a Goldilocks situation, I suppose. So I did have a little bit of trouble getting this situated and ready to go, but once we had the drive band on, it was pretty much smooth sailing from there. The only other thing that I needed to set up before we were ready to start spinning was the Scotch tension system, which was really pretty much already set up. The wheel already had it installed and ready to go. I did make a few adjustments to it, but other than that, everything else was ready to start spinning. And we are spinning. As you can see, the wheel is working pretty well now. I haven't decided what to name her, but if you have any suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. The lady that that actually sold her to me was named Michelle. And so I was thinking about possibly honoring her as well as my sister who shared that same name, with going ahead and giving the wheel that name as well. But let me know what you think. As always, a like and a subscribe is appreciated. And thank you for joining us today on this edition of Ashley Tries To as we restored this vintage Ashford Traditional spinning wheel. And I hope that you'll join me next time for another episode of Ashley Tries To.